Hi, my name is Cole, and today we'll be taking a look at Parsec, a low-latency remote connection program that works great with EEGer home use. This video will cover everything from installing Parsec on a Windows computer to using it in session. Timestamps for each section can be found in the video's description. To get started with Parsec, we're going to want to install the program from their website. This process should be followed on both the clinical system and the home use system. For this demo, I'll be using Google Chrome, but the process should work similar for other web browsers such as Mozilla Firefox or Microsoft Edge. The process of installing Parsec will be familiar if you've downloaded and installed programs before onto your computer. If you're unfamiliar with installing programs using your specific web browser, there are video tutorials online explaining the process. So let's go ahead and start by opening up our web browser and searching for Parsec Gaming in our search bar. Here we should see parsecgaming.com, which we'll want to click on. We can also go directly to parsecgaming.com by typing it into our search bar at the top of our browser. Once we're on the Parsec website, we're going to want to find the download button in the top right and click on it. Press download for Windows. It might take a few seconds depending on your internet connection speed. After the download is finished, we're going to run the installer. It should take a few seconds for the installer to complete before it opens up the Parsec app. You'll see Parsec as a small window in the center of your screen, but if you'd like, you can use the buttons in the top right to maximize the program if needed. Now with Parsec successfully installed, we're going to want to create an account. We can do this by clicking the Sign Up button located at the bottom of the menu that appears. This will open up a web browser with a page asking us to create an account. The first step in creating an account will be selecting a username. This is what your clients will see when they open up Parsec, or for a home user will be the name your supervising clinician uses to identify you. If you're a clinician, you can enter your name or practice name here. For home users, I would recommend talking with your supervising clinician to find out if there's a format they'd like your username to be in. We found it best to create your username with your dongle number included in your username. So as an example, if your dongle number was 52424, you might want to make your name homeuser52424 or your first name and last name with 52424 at the end. If needed, both supervising clinicians and home users can rename their accounts at any time. Once you've chosen a username, you'll need to enter your email address and password for Parsec. The password you enter here is what you use to sign into Parsec once you've created an account. Once you've entered your email address and password, complete the CAPTCHA at the bottom of the menu and press the Sign In button. Before going any further, we'll want to check the email address we used to create our account for a verification email from Parsec. Until we verify our account, we won't be able to use Parsec to connect to another computer or allow others to connect to our computer. Once we've verified our account, we're going to want to enter our email address and password back into the Parsec app we opened earlier. Now that we're logged into Parsec, we're ready to begin using it. When you first open Parsec, there will be some pop-ups explaining some different features about the program. You can click through these or dismiss them by pressing the X in the top right of the pop-up window. The first screen we see in Parsec will be the Computers tab. This is the most used tab of the program and will open automatically whenever we start the program. In this tab, we can see a list of computers we currently have access to, including our own computer and any computers for friends that we add. The first computer displayed on the Computers tab will always be the computer that we're currently logged into Parsec from. We can see here where it says this computer underneath the computer name. The computer name displayed here is how we'll show up in Parsec to other users. Once we add friends, we'll be able to see their computers on this tab along with a button that allows us to connect to their computers. We can switch between the different tabs of Parsec using the menu on the left side of the window. The first and most important of these tabs is the Computer tab. The second tab is the Arcade tab, which we'll not be using with EEGer. We can safely ignore this tab and will not need to click on it to use Parsec with EEGer. The third tab is the Settings tab. This allows us to rename our computer, change our username and profile picture, and adjust a lot of different settings about the program. The fourth tab is the Friends tab. This will be how we add other EEGer users as friends on Parsec. This will allow us to connect to their computer or vice versa. As a supervising clinician, we'll use this tab to add the accounts of our home users as friends. For the home user, they'll use this tab to accept the friend request sent to them by the supervising clinician. The next tab is the Help tab, which is useful if you have any problems with Parsec. Parsec has an excellent online knowledge base site and great technical support to assist with any issues you encounter. If you encounter any errors while using Parsec, you can quickly search the error message on their online knowledge base to find solutions for your problems. The final tab is the Exit Logout tab. We'll not be using this tab as either the supervising clinician or home user. It's important that we don't log out of our account so that we can easily get online and connect it in the future. Now that we have Parsec installed for both the supervising clinician and the home user, and we've created accounts for both, we're going to want to add a friend. We can use the Friends tab, which is the fourth tab on the left side of Parsec, to add other EEGer users as friends. Once we've added someone as a friend and they've accepted our friend request, we'll be able to see and connect to their system under the Computers tab. By this stage, both the supervising clinician and their home user should have a Parsec account and be logged into the program. If the home user hasn't created their account yet, we won't be able to see them when we search to add them as a friend. To add a friend, we're going to want to click on the Friends tab. This will open up a panel on the left side of the app that lists our friends. Right now, it's going to show up as empty because we don't have any friends added. At the top of the panel, we can see a button to add friend and also to view friend requests. As the supervising clinician, we'll want to click the Add Friend button. This will open a pop-up with a search bar at the top that will allow us to type in the username of our home user. As we start typing, we'll begin to see results until we type enough to narrow it down to a single username. Once you see your home user's account, click on the button to the right with the small plus icon to add them as a friend. The pop-up window should close, and you'll see a message at the top of the app that your friend request was sent. Inform your home user and have them accept your friend request. If you have multiple home users, go ahead and repeat this process to add all of their accounts as friends. When you receive a friend request in Parsec, you'll notice a red number appear below your Friends tab. Click on the Friends tab, and then click the View Friend Request button. Once you've done this, a window will appear displaying a list of users who have sent you a friend request. Here we see that we have an incoming request from Demo Clinician that we can either approve or deny by pressing the buttons on the right side of our screen. Before we accept this, we'll want to confirm with our supervising clinician that this request is from them and that the username matches the supervising clinician's username. If you're the supervising clinician accepting friend requests from your clients, do the same and confirm that you're actually adding the account of your client. Now that we've accepted a friend request, we can go back to the Friends tab and see a list of users we've added as friends. Here we should see our supervising clinician that we recently accepted a friend request from. Now as the home user, we'll want to adjust the permissions for our supervising clinician. What these permissions do is basically tell Parsec what the user is allowed to do when they're connected to our computer. To adjust the permissions for a user, we'll want to open the Friends tab on the left side of the program and click on their username in our list of friends. Once we've clicked on their username, we'll see a list of checkboxes appear. These are the permissions for that specific user's account. As a home user, we'll want to enable these permissions to allow our supervising clinician to access and control our computer. We'll want to ensure that the boxes for keyboard control and mouse control are checked. This will allow the supervising clinician to make adjustments during a session and also control the cursor on the screen. Additionally, there is an option to allow the user to connect without needing my approval. This is a convenient option that we recommend enabling if possible, as it simplifies the process of getting connected with your supervising clinician dramatically. With these options set, you as the home user will not need to open up Parsec each time you run a session to allow your supervising clinician to connect. If we allow the supervising clinician to connect without our approval, they'll be able to simply press the Connect button on their Computers tab to immediately get access to our screen. After adding our supervising clinician as a friend and setting their permissions, we're pretty much done setting up Parsec for home use. There's some additional options we may want to check in the Settings tab, such as ensuring that hosting is enabled. And here in the settings, we can also adjust how our computer shows up to our supervising clinician by changing the host name. This can help your supervising clinician identify your computer more easily. Before we begin with a demonstration of how Parsec works, I want to explore some terminology that Parsec uses that might initially be a bit confusing. Parsec works on a host and guest system. The host computer is the computer that's being connected to. For the purposes of home use with EEGer, the host computer will be the computer where EEGer is being used for training. The supervising clinician is the one temporarily connecting to the host system. In this context, the guest would be the supervising clinician. This is an important distinction, as any errors you encounter with Parsec will likely differentiate between the issue being on the host computer or the guest computer. Once the home user has adjusted our permissions, we'll want to navigate to the Computers tab on the supervising clinician's computer. Remember that the supervising clinician is the guest, so we'll want to be connecting to the home user's computer in order to see and control their screen. On the Computers tab, we'll see our computer listed like we did when we first set up Parsec. Once we've added a friend, we should now see another computer listed for our home user's account. If you do not see a computer showing up, check to make sure that the home user has accepted your friend request and press the Reload button in the top right to search for a computer to connect to. Once we've identified the home user's computer using their computer name and account name, we'll want to press the Connect button. If the home user has allowed us to connect to the system without permission, It should immediately load and display the home user's computer. Once we've connected, we'll see exactly what the home user is seeing on their computer. For this demonstration, it looks like they have EEGer open and do not currently have a dongle plugged in. What you'll notice is the visual quality is a bit lower than what you'd expect if you were to open EEGer on your own computer. That's okay, as Parsec is designed to prioritize the connection speed over its quality. This allows Parsec to show us our client screen in as close to real time as possible, which is great for EEGer. This allows us to make adjustments during a session, and it immediately take effect for the client receiving the feedback. The visual quality of our connection will fluctuate throughout the session depending on our internet connection to the client. Rest assured that the client is still seeing their screen in full quality on their own computer. By default, Parsec is going to display in full screen mode when we connect to a home user's computer. As a supervising clinician, this can make it difficult to access other programs or windows on your computer when remotely connected to a client. Thankfully, we can change Parsec from full screen to windowed mode using the semi-transparent Parsec button in the top left. This button is something that only the guest or supervising clinician will be able to see when they're connected to the home user's computer. It allows for the supervising clinician to do things like disconnect, change the window type, and open a text chat with the host computer. What we'll want to do is click the button labeled Windowed. This will make Parsec show up as a small window that we can drag around or maximize, just like any other program on our clinical system. Having Parsec in windowed mode makes it easier to open up other programs like a web browser or our own version of EEGer on our clinical system, and also to access our taskbar at the bottom of the screen. When we connect to the home user's computer using Parsec, we'll be able to control the session just like EEGer was open on our own computer. That means we can use the arrow keys to adjust the different traces, and even use the function keys like F5 to begin or pause the session. This all happens nearly instantaneously for the home user, which sets Parsec apart from other remote connection softwares which can often have a delay between the guest pressing a button and it actually happening on the host's computer. Before running a session with Parsec, we encourage you to remotely connect with the home user to test the connection and make sure that actions happen in real time. If you have any problems or questions, this would be a good time to troubleshoot them using Parsec's help menu. Once we've finished our session with the home user, we'll want to disconnect from their computer using Parsec. We can do this simply by pressing the X in the top right of the Parsec window on the supervising clinician's computer. Closing Parsec using the X will exit the session and return us to the Computers tab, where we can connect to another home user's computer in the same way we did previously. When you disconnect from Parsec, the home user will continue seeing whatever screen they were left on. So if you disconnect while on the EEGer main screen, that's what the home user will continue seeing when you disconnect. If the home user does have Parsec open and wants to close the window, we recommend pressing the X in the top right. This will minimize Parsec, meaning it runs in the background but won't get in the way of the home user using the computer. When it comes time for a next session, the home user won't need to open up Parsec for us to connect. All the supervising clinician will need to do is press connect on their computer, and they'll immediately see what the client sees. Another great feature about Parsec is that it automatically begins whenever you turn on the computer. That means that for both the home user and supervising clinician, they won't need to log in each time to get connected. All the home user needs to do is turn on their computer and connect it to the internet to allow the supervising clinician access to setting up or beginning the session. If you ever do need to open up Parsec, the easiest way to do that is typing Parsec into the search bar at the bottom of your screen, or clicking on the Parsec icon in the system tray of your taskbar.